We'll see.
Brave does Philophili.
Leave it to me.
That's like the one, I guess, blessing and curse of my job is I constantly move. Folded page from Aldhelm's journal. Day 10. Patrons grow impatient with the lack of quantifiable results. They should drag themselves out of their mansions and spend a few nights here if they think it's so easy. I feel you, man. I'd say in the past 8 years, I've moved. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in the past 8 years. Yeah. Like I said, I'm about to move again here within the next 6 months or so. And then I'll move again a year after that. Day 11. Finally got out of the tower to clear our heads. Beasts take the patrons. We'll finish the study on our own terms at our own time, just as I said, as much to Trendig. The sky came to life and stray lightning. It said it's a good omen, but the poor lad spooked. Only cure for that is a good night's sleep. Oh, hey. Made it to the roof.
Still nothing.
Let's talk to this dude. A man hunches over a strange mechanism, his spine a sharp ridge rising from his arched back. He's barely clothed in filthy rags, and the patches of skin you see are mottled green. A spoiled stench emanates from him. He's so intent on his work that he doesn't notice you until your shadow falls over him. When he turns and sees you, he snarls and scuttles behind the Adra pedestal. Only his bared teeth seem to have escaped decay. His eyes are yellowed and bloodshot, and they flicker with intelligence. He averts his gaze and holds a hand in front of his face.
Shouldn't be here. What do you want?
Tell me what happened here.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
He smashes a fist into the Adra pillar. His hand makes a crunchy noise, but doesn't bleed.
Forgive me. Research. We came to do research on the tower. Some commission from gods. Hardly matters now.
Given the I can't talk today. Given the catastrophe that followed, the commission in your research might matter a great deal. Stick to the present. When did the disaster start?
Something happened on our 11th night. Lights in the sky and a static charge in the air. But we were so careful. We were staying in the chambers below. Trendig, my assistant, said he saw a robed figure lurking around the tower. Wore a mask. Carried knives at his sides. A trick of shadows, I told him. The next morning, we felt strange. Like we hadn't eaten in weeks. So dazed that we didn't at first notice the blood around our beds. the strange wounds that had appeared overnight.
Seems like something's haunting them.
And the machine, this cursed spire, dormant for 2,000 years, lifeless through hundreds of our experiments, and we wake that morning to find it spinning on its own. On its own! How can we stop what we couldn't start?
As exciting as the prospect of a living machine may be, I suspect that given mention of a machine and a masked figure both, there is another explanation.
Years I've been doing this. Years. I know how these things work, but I don't know how this happened. Where to go? That's the problem. Their souls are trapped here like flies in a jar, clinging to rotting meat.
Slow down. What does this machine have to do with the souls?
No time to slow down. But I can explain. Hold a magnet over iron splinters and they stick. Yes? Rub your hand over weir wool and the hair of your head will follow it. So it is with this machine.
He looks at you and runs his tongue along the edges of his fine, strong teeth. He quickly looks away.
It has the power to manipulate souls. Why? For what? And how many others lie buried in the ruins of Airblon, Father? No. Focus on this one. It's imprisoned our souls in our bodies. Cut the root between essence and flesh. Left a dwindling soul stuck in a shriveling husk.
How can I help?
Not your help I need. It's Herodin, shrew. Squanders her research on frivolities, then refuses to make herself useful. Runes. The runes are the last part of the puzzle. Acantha knows them. She gives them to you, and you can turn the machine off. Release our souls.
Wait, runes? The Ingwethan runes? She can read them? He speaks of this feat so blandly. Let's talk instead to this Herodin Grizz. I'd pick her thoughts a time. She wasn't here the night the machine came on, staying with her patrons somewhere near. Too good to be burdened with our arrogant company. There was a stranger in the tower the night this happened?
I didn't see him. My assistant, he saw him. We laughed. Said he was spooked by the cemetery. Perhaps it was already too late. I don't know what he did. But by morning the machine was on and we were slain. People were already on the streets, complaining of neighbors and family members acting strangely.
Oh, so these guys are dead. That explains why he looks the way he does. So, they're dead, but they're stuck in their bodies. You're not like the ghouls on the street.
Not yet. But I will be. My body is dead. My soul,
There we go.
imprisoned in this corpse, only makes it seem otherwise. And as the body decays, so does the mind. Until nothing is left but the hunger. The only way to forestall the process is through a regular infusion of essence. Living flesh is the only ready supply. I'm not proud of any of it. Hunting men and women in the early days of the affliction. Picking off soldiers that came to investigate. But I'd do it again. I'll do it as long as I must to end this disaster. You could help. Help me end this. Help me find sustenance.
What happened to the rest of your team?
By the time I realized what had happened, the district had already been sealed. So we fed when we needed, and locked ourselves in the tower to work. And then there came a time when the hunger struck, and there was hardly anyone left.
I'll get the words from Acantha.
Yes, Acantha. She was here, in the district. Probably here still, always prepared. Clever lady, that one. And perhaps you'll bring me something. Something to keep me sharp. Then I show you a secret about the machine. Something to make you strong.
Desganto. His condition has turned him into little more than an animal. Don't do it. Alright, find Encantha.
Hey.
Let's proceed down to the bottom. He says she might be here. I haven't seen anybody
Alright then.
since we came here. There's only one other place that I haven't looked. There's a... Alright, so let's look here. Actually, we haven't been up here. So, let's go back up here, take a quick look, see what's going on. Other than that, there's a mausoleum over here. Gosh dang it.
If thou feel like you leave,
A whole bunch of revenants and one Dargle. Alright, sweet.
I'm ready.
Yes?
Alright then.
Sweet, camping supplies. We desperately needed that. Alright, so there is a building up here. It's a manor. And then we have... Oh, here's her house. Perfect. Watch, she's gonna be like an undead thing and attacking me. Or not. A woman bends over a roaring fireplace, feeding a splintered chair leg into it. As you get closer, you notice something unnatural about her, a certain pallor to her skin, a lack of movement beneath her flesh, even while her arms execute deft, efficient movements. Then you notice the puckered flesh, ragged and bloodless, over her heart. I would not get too close, Grizz. Look there. She's not truly living, but such things always hunger after life.
It's rude to stare, you know. Don't worry. I've no mind to start anything with you. After all, I've stayed in such good shape by choosing my meals carefully.
I need the words to operate the Inguithan machine in the tower.
That fool Aldhelm. He sent you, didn't he? I can hardly believe he's had the cleverness to survive. That simpleton thinks he can understand how to use something without understanding what it is, or why it is.
You feel a hot core of pride smoldering at the center of her soul.
He dabbles with ancient and powerful devices, with all the finesse of a blacksmith. He sends you here to petition me for aid after years of disparaging my research. I'll bet he didn't even tell you the tower's name, did he? That's his problem. Always looking for solutions without caring for meaning.
The problems in Heritage Hill are bigger than your rivalry in Cantha. What do I care? I prepared myself for the eventuality such as this, and I can assure you those dwindling souls in the streets are beyond caring as well. Her pride burns brighter still. Humble Oldham now by demonstrating the value of your research. My silence demonstrates it more succulently. Your words fan the strange coals in the center of her soul. Tell me the tower's name.
Ter Nuneth. It's called Ter Nuneth. They built the machine atop it to contain souls, hold them in place. But the others I've seen, machines scattered all over the Deerwood, are relays, built to move souls.
How do you operate the machine atop Ter Nuneth?
Back to these tinkers' concerns. And what would you do with these tethered souls if I told you?
I'd release them.
So you say. And just what would you release them to? They'd abandon their existence here for another somewhere else, equally aimless and meaningless.
I could help you, but I won't. The pride lodged in her soul flares up, twisting the shape of something that wreathes and squeals within her. Here, I have specimens aplenty and time enough to observe them all. It's every scientist's dream. My answer is no. What? But what good is observing all this if you're going to hoard it to yourself? Tell her, Grizz, an entire language at your fingertips, and she hides it away. Extinguish Enchanta's pride. The Frampier doesn't seem to notice as you wrap your mind around the squalling, burning mass. However, it sears your very bones. You jump back, crying out in pain. I won't abandon this opportunity. The souls will remain here with me, and I'll accomplish more than any animancer in the history of the field. You can't leave these souls imprisoned. And who will stop me? Only I understand and control the words for Ter Nuneth. So, yes, I can. Her pride blazes. And who will know about it? The pride thing flickers as the flames around it abate. All I've learned, years of studying the Ingwithan language. No one understands it better than me. That counts for something. Your opportunities here are finite. One day that knowledge will die with you. The pride hisses and sputters. It's little more than an ember now. You're wrong, but there's no conviction in her voice. I'll build it forever. I'll cling to it. That will give me something. Teach me what you know. I'll make sure it grows and your legacy lives on. Your words finally quench her pride. All that remains is a blackened diamond hard rock. You cast it away where it melts into darkness.
So be it. My studies and efforts shall grow through yours. These are the words you need.
Her cold, dry fingertips rest on your temples, and you feel her reaching into your mind, forming images in the dark from the darkness. Runes flash through your head, but they are no longer just pictures. They have meaning, and you understand them. They're commands. Something triggers in your mind, a distant memory unearthed from the past life long since buried. You can see a vast array of runes, far more than Encanta has shown you, and you know their sound and their meaning and how they fit together. The language of Ingwith once more at your command.
Something has awakened in your mind. You understand far more than I ever did. Take this knowledge then, and do what you will with Ter Nuneth. Now that you understand its purpose, it will serve you in whatever way you wish.
A speaker of dead tongues now. And so he surpasses 100 frustrated scholars in the matter of a few moments. I don't suppose you could look at a few books for me. What do I do with the tower now that I know these words?
Turn it off, I expect. That will be easy now that you can read the runes. The vessels would still roam, but striking them down would return their essence to the cycle. But be careful. That machine controls hundreds of souls, and that volume of essence could easily overload it. improperly channeling the essence would destroy the machine along with the souls. It would be a terrible loss for posterity.
Out of the corner of eye, Aloth gives you a sly look. It seems your ravenous new friend has just given us the key to ending this wretchedness for good. And now that we've seen what the machine is capable of, I do hope you're not squeamish about the loss of a few hundred souls. We said the other towers around Direwood were constructed to move souls. Why would the Ingwithans have wanted to do that? Another mystery, hypothetically anywhere they wished. The real question, as always, is why. To intermix them the way that the player shuffles his deck, the way a farmer rotates his fields, to collect them like butterflies under glass, to melt them down for raw essence. Unfortunately, I do not know. Ramai, how do you know so much about the tower? I read the runes like a journal. I understand their meaning. People like Aldhelm try to read them like instruction manuals. In doing so, they miss their true meaning completely. I don't understand why the Ingwithans would want to build a machine that tethers souls. Perhaps they didn't. Perhaps that's why they built no other machines like this one. We now see the Ingwithans as masters of soul manipulation, but they couldn't have attained their expertise without copious trial and error. Perhaps this is one such experiment. Explain how the control words work. Harnessing the power of Tyr Knoweth is about understanding what it was designed to do. You know the words and their meanings. You can speak them, and the tower shall obey. That's all. Thanks. All right. So we're going to go back up to the tower and try to shut it off. So this is one of the quests that we had. So this one, Undying Heritage. Yep. So Undying Heritage is one of our main quests that we got from the Layden's Key. The Layden's Key is an organization that we found out had essentially trapped another Watcher's soul. So we went to them trying to figure out how we can fix him, and they gave us all these extra quests. So let's give this a shot. A jagged Audra pillar rises in front of you, encased in stonework and run through with copper veins. The panel is covered with runes which you now understand. You recognize the words for end and for hold. The dial is currently fixed to hold. You also recognize by an inscription that the manner in which you turn the dial means the throttling of the device. Let's choose end. As the command words leave your lips, the dial sinks into the Audra under your hands. Something like a thunderclap sounds overhead. The glow fades in the machine as it falls dormant. Defiance Bay, major positive.
Still and silent.
Is that it?
It's finally over.
Can we not do anything with this guy?
Still
Alright, guess not.
and silent.
Alright, is that done?
It's finally over.
Yep. Alright, so we got this done. Let's go down the bottom. So we got a lot of reputation gain with that as well, which we really need. So it seems like this part is done. Uh-oh. Dunner to Row Messenger. Beg your pardon, I have a message for you. You are summoned to Hadrat House, where Lady Webb wishes to meet with you as soon as possible. The head of 100 Row Spy Network? Her eyes narrow. Why would she be looking for you? How did you know where to find me? Well, it's Lady Webb. She knows everything. Where can I find Hadred House? In Brackenbury, my lord. The southwest corner, you'll find the lady upstairs. Very well. Awesome. So, we actually needed to go to Dunward Row anyway for another quest. So we'll knock both of those out there. I think we have a couple other quests in Brackenbury we need to knock out. So this is just kind of convenient.
Greetings.
Alright. The tower, it's off. Does this mean the curse in Heritage Hill is lifted? It wasn't a curse, but yes, the district is safe again. I think it'll be some time before anyone is willing to settle in the district again, but at least we can get started on restoring it. Alright, we're going to go over to Brackenbury. To the southwest. Hadred House. House Domhnall. Older Roadman, as you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone on your stomach. The feeling is not quite real. The relocation of an emotion rather than the motion itself. It wrenches your insides. Nevertheless, the apparition's brow is tensed, a look of concern plain across its face. The other missionaries
say you have been neglectful of your duties.
My mind has been elsewhere.
Oh? And what troubles you?
The pain in your stomach deepens, and you feel for a moment as though you're about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence. I wish to leave the order. The man folds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth, thoughtful.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
The people we intended to convert, they committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. The apparition exhales slowly as his lips press together, a sympathetic rapture in its eyes. It places a hand on your shoulder.
These are the ways of the heathen world.
Surely the gods would do better to destroy us all than start anew.
Perhaps they would. It may come to that one day. This is why we must not fail. The heathens are beyond the gods' reach. They do not know better. We are tasked with delivering them to the gods, so that the gods may heal their souls.
Is such a thing possible?
I have seen it with my own eyes. You will see it too, if you choose to remain. There is no greater calling than the one we have chosen. Neither words, nor wealth, nor battle will end this suffering. Only the gods. Will you give them that chance?
The knot in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced by something else entirely. Something warm and soothing. And it has something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. Your last response echoes in your mind. I will.